This is Newsmax covering it. Oh shit. This is not the hammer coming down the way you wanted it. You want me to bring the hammer down? Has Sean ever been right? No. You want me to bring the hammer down? You humans are so petty and tiny. When does Cohen testify? Oh, I'm excited. Mrs. Trump.
To hear, hey.
Yeah. Hey. All right, here we go. Breaking. Kevin McCarthy removed as House Speaker. We fast forward to present day on Earth 1.
Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Kilmeny Dukard is now joining us from Capitol Hill. I think the voting is done, Kilmeny. What can you tell us?
You think? They told you it is.
The voting is still ongoing right now, Chris. These roll call votes are certainly time consuming.
Yeah, it's just so many people. You know what I mean? We should cut the House in half. Probably if we could just get rid of the representatives, like, I don't know, in the black and Hispanic districts, that would really move things right along, wouldn't it, Kilmeny? Kilmeny Duterte.
But at this point, again,
the fuck kind of Kilmeny? Jesus Christ. Sounds like the name of a Nazi camp guard. No offense, but Jesus, the Kilmeny? I would hate to meet her great-grandfather. Just fucking old, like, Irish Viking covered in blood. Bah! Kilmeny de murders.
And all roads are still leading to the fact that Speaker McCarthy will be vacated at the end of this very long vote series. There have been enough Republicans, as you and I have spoken about, that have already indicated that they do not support keeping Speaker McCarthy.
But anybody know how many Scaramucci's Kevin McCarthy lasted? Has anybody done the math on that? Somebody do the math on how many Scaramucci's McCarthy lasted. Because he's the first guy to be ousted. Was it how many? 27? Oh yeah, one Scaramucci is 11 days. Okay, there you go. Shit.
Power and what we had heard in the lead up.
27 Scaramucci's. It's like we'll name this video 27 Scaramucci's later. Just have this zombie. All right, never mind.
To the debate over this, the hour of debate where proponents of McCarthy and critics of McCarthy had a moment to make their case.
Which, by the way, was so fucking choice. ACSL, if you could see if you can find one of the moments from where they're kind of back and forth. Just give them a little, so we can give them a sampling of what the back and forth was like after this clip. Maybe it would, where they were discussing it, especially fucking Gates giving his time to like the other dickheads who are slamming. It's just so gross. It was so.
We heard from Republican Congressman Tom McClintock saying that at the end of this, the House will be paralyzed. Democrats will revel in Republican dysfunction. Americans will be repulsed. And he warned members that they would only have minutes to come to their senses here. And again, it's a big open question of how the Republican conference proceeds after this.
Right, because because basically they've just slammed the gas, taken their hands off the wheel, and covered everyone in the car's eyes with their hands. It's like, let's do this! There's the cliff! Yeehaw!
Because the House will inevitably be called into recess. There will need to be
Well, I think a bunch of them would rather, be on the playground.
Speaker pro tempore elected, and there can be no official business done at this point until another speaker is elected. I think the question becomes, do they initiate this process tonight? Are there negotiations behind closed doors? Is it House Speaker Kevin McCarthy?
Yeah, I no. Just for the record, no. There will not be negotiations behind closed doors. Behind closed doors, there will be a lot of fucking screaming tonight. Honest to God, the back and forth in the they are going to be like, that's what's going to be the story tomorrow, is the shouting matches in the hallways and in the offices, and people going, we're outside the fucking hall, the Republican conference room, and these motherfuckers are screaming at each other.
McCarthy, who emerges again as the nominee, or is it someone else? We talked about the fact that there hasn't been a real consensus.
Wouldn't that be hilarious if they re-vote for him, though? Like, they do the motion to vacate, but then they vote for him, and the oh, wouldn't this be fucking hilarious? Oh, Democrats, let me float this idea. Work with me for a second. Go to the House and tell them, go to McCarthy and go, we'll add enough votes for you to be reinstated as Speaker if you scuttle the impeachment inquiry. We'll put you right back in the seat, man. How about that? We'll give you enough votes. Oh, God, that would be so funny.
Candidate that has emerged.
And then you could get in without promising that bullshit to your caucus, without the one-step motion to vacate. Yeah, put them back. I mean, what's the option? They have no one.
From this.
Yeah, Kilmeny, breaking news right now. It is official. Speaker Kevin McCarthy has been ousted from the speakership of the House of Representatives. So
now, Salcido, tell us how it's a great idea and a positive thing for America. And this is promises made and promises kept.
Oh, now the pivot. Now, where do we go from here? That is the big question.
By the way, somebody was saying, how do we trust McCarthy to keep his word if they did that for him? Well, it doesn't say anywhere that Democrats can't put one vote forward to get rid of him. It doesn't have to be just their party. Anybody can come forward with a vacate the speaker motion. I don't think he clarified that only a Republican could do it. It'd be fucking hilarious.
Folks, it's on your screen right now as you're watching the House of Representatives. Kevin
McCarthy being kicked to the curb by a substitute teacher from A Christmas Story.
McCarthy is no longer the Speaker of the House. So, Kilmeny, let me bring you back in. And so now that this vote is...
Now what?
Has taken... Oh, hold on a minute. I'm being told we should listen to the official proceedings on the floor. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Because Salcido is not going to have anything constructive to add.
Prior to proceeding to the election of a speaker, it would be prudent to first recess for the relative caucus and conferences to meet and discuss the path forward.
Right. The path forward. That's funny. The path forward. Because that presumes they actually want to move forward. All right.
Accordingly, pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the chair declares the House in recess, subject to the call of the chair.
Sorry.
Whoa, did you... That banging of the gavel, folks, that was a statement. That was a statement from a lot of frustration there. The Republican caucus, the vote is over. Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah, it's so mad. I'm so mad. I did a mad thing. I smack a gavel. Here, we'll look at it again.
In recess, subject to the call of the chair.
God, my president's being indicted, and he's all mad, and the clerk is about to go. Oh, it's just the fun we have. Sarah Palin, shit. Remember they were talking about Trump being speaker at one point. Wouldn't that be fucking hilarious? They try to make him speaker while he's. Oh, yeah, they can elect anybody. They don't have to have somebody in the House to be speaker. They don't.
Whoa.
Shit.
Whoa, did you... That banging of the gavel, folks, that was a statement.
Well, it was a tantrum.
That was a statement from a lot of frustration there. The Republican caucus, the vote is over. Speaker Kevin McCarthy is no longer the Speaker of the House of Representatives, no longer the third most powerful individual in our country elected in.
Yeah, we don't have one. So who is it? The Joint Chiefs, head of the Joint Chiefs? Does the Democratic Party get to choose Hakeem Jeffries as third in line simply because there is no confirmed speakers so they can pick their majority leader for governmental continuity.
Individual in our country.
I'll do it. I'm putting my hat in the ring. I'll be Speaker of the House. I'll be glad to do it. Hey, you know I can speak. I mean, I may not have the best words, you know, like some people do, but
the Burmese executives.
Sure,
So
I might.
Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese.
I understand.
Let's go back to Kilmeny Dukart. So, Kilmeny, they're all going to go to their separate corners and start strategizing. What's next?
Yeah, that's right. And what you also heard when you heard that gavel, Chris.
I would be, yeah, Singer of the House. That's a great idea. So now I come to you with open arms. What bill are we trying to pass right now? Back in black! I hit the sag! I bend along a clack, clack. I'm fine. I'm not saying the power would go to my head. I'm saying that it might go to the wrong head, and that's okay.
Was history being made because this is, again, the first time in history that we have seen this happen. Speaker McCarthy being the first leader to be vacated here from this motion. I don't believe that Speaker McCarthy thought that this would be the outcome today when he was speaking to reporters on Capitol Hill this morning.
Right, but he can't find his ass with both hands, so
saying that he anticipated
Speaker's second line, not third. Well, second in line after the president, 3 heartbeats away is the way they look at it. You're absolutely right. Who said that in the chat room? It's an important distinction. Third in line for the presidency. The first being the actual president, who's effectively presiding over the
that he would be the speaker at the end of the evening. We know that Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz has said he was willing to initiate this process as many times as possible until Kevin McCarthy was no longer House Speaker. But as you mentioned, in terms of what happens next, yes, Republicans will go into conference. They'll go behind closed doors. The House
they're not going to do this in public.
Is officially closed for business. It cannot do anything until it elects a speaker. These are going to be tough conversations.
Yeah, I agree.
Tough negotiations.
It's totally true.
Because if you factor into
the amount of assholes,
what it took for Speaker McCarthy to become elected.
Right. Oh, I'm just sorry. I think I'm enjoying this a little too much. Just should we just be more direct about it? I'm just saying, yeah.
A lot of people arguing the number of concessions that he made just to become elected speaker.
I like speecher better.
You can imagine what sort of concessions he may be asked this time around if, again, he is put forward as the candidate, or if, as you mentioned, there is an alternate that some in the conference have in mind. But again, this is barreling toward another deadline to pass these fiscal.
Gee, it's almost as if Republicans have no interest in fucking governing. As I have said repeatedly.
Appropriations bills for 2024. And there's a lot of legislative business to do, and this is something that is certainly going to hamper business in the House.
It's definitely going to hamper business.
Well, Kilmeny, about those concessions you mentioned, and I think this is what has the ire of a lot of those conservatives. Those concessions were made, they were agreed to, they were promised, and they weren't delivered. And this is pretty much typical of how.
Yeah, they were, by the way. Like, I'm no fan of Kevin McCarthy's, but this motherfucker, the whole purpose wasn't to only pass bills that will never make it past the Senate or never get signed by the president. That's just fucking stupid. And if that's what Gaetz and the rest of these assholes were expecting, that's on them. That's just embarrassing. Stop it. You don't control the government, and you don't have the ability to line item veto the rest of the fucking budget based on a 4-vote fucking mandate. You have to negotiate. It's a democracy. You have to deal with the other side. The other side has the upper chamber and the presidency. You got to get through them, so you're going to have to give some. And so this idea that the fucking Firebrand Freedom Caucus crowd can just dictate to everybody else and make them take this because they're a small but frightening factor in the Republican Party that scares the shit out of the weak-kneed ones does not mean that that's a mandate for what that caucus actually wants. It's embarrassing.
How the Republican Party has treated conservatives, oh yeah, we'll pay you a lot of lip service.
The Republican Party has treated conservatives? Fuck.
Yeah, sure, we'll tell you what you want to hear, but don't expect you're going to get any of that we're going to honor any of these things. And I think
because there aren't enough of you to create a mandate that the rest of the electorate will take. It's a fucking country, not a country club.
that's what's led us to here, because certain conservatives wanted to take the speaker at his word. Is there any oh, hold on a second. Okay.
Somebody's telling me that I'm rambling again. I'm rambling. Some rambling is happening. I'm getting in my ear that stop telling me I'm blazingly full of shit, control room. I'm trying to talk as much as I can while this happened. I was told earlier that no news would break on my show. I'm not good in these situations.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I'm sorry, Kilman. I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just getting some discussions from the control booth. Look, I just want
Yeah, just discussions. Shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. You're talking in circles. It already happened.
to know, is there a factor in here that
Yeah, there's it's fear factor.
Mr. McCarthy
Yeah, they're going to decide who is the next speaker by eating boiled bull testicles. Joe Rogan's going to oversee the entire thing.
did not fulfill the obligations he made to conservatives as a condition of getting the speaker's gavel? There is a component to that, yes?
Yeah. There is certainly criticisms that we have heard from Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz about that process. They wanted these
Conservatives, aka one dude.
bills to go through the regular order. They didn't want to.
Also, has anybody noticed that when all the talk happened about Matt Gaetz getting expelled from Congress as it worked its way through the ethics committee, that all of a sudden he wants to vacate the speaker because anything to slow down the process? You do realize this is just straight up Trumpism. This has fuck all to do with like fiscal conservatism. This is Matt Gaetz covering his ass. If he can drag this shit out or put the fear of vacation, in the rest of the Republican caucus, that in any next speaker will need him and his friends to get through, or some Democrats, which would fucking ruin them, right? That's all he's trying to do is punt them going after him.
Pass a continuing resolution. But as Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene pointed out many times,
that was a direct quote, by the way,
that this is the way that the system has been set up. You have the long August recess, and then you have a month, essentially less than that. Republicans actually had 11 legislative days that they had to work on this before they had to pass, again, a budget for the next year, before the government was set to run out of money.
Tough shit. And explain to me, all right, in certain instances, there are two wild cards. There's, one would argue, Ukraine funding, which is a pittance in the military budget, a fucking pittance. So you have $1 trillion military budget. You're going to talk to me about $130 billion, all of which gets paid back with interest, and the vast majority is given in lend-lease stuff and doesn't flow out as cash. Put that aside for 1 second. And then the other one would be, I don't know, disaster relief. If there's a huge hurricane season, or there's a huge tornado season, or the flooding in New York or whatever, and they have to give emergency funding, which they could allocate separately under a supplementary bill anyways. The rest of it, you could work that shit out early this year. You could have sat down with the entire fucking budget and 6 accountants from your district, Dave style, and worked out a budget that you present that everybody can mark up. What? I don't want to hear about fucking 11 days after the recess. You had a whole fucking reset.
So she has cited the fact that hey, this is how the system is set up. It's set up this way. And the answer is not vacating Kevin McCarthy as House Speaker. It's not expelling Congressman Matt Gaetz. It's about working together and trying to find consensus within the party. But that
Yeah, that's not how it worked out, is it? It's almost as if you guys are so divisive. You could it's you know how they say, like, if you have a gun in the house, you're 50 times more likely to get shot because you'll use it on yourself or accidentally harm somebody, or somebody in your house will get shot. This is the same thing with, like, being a Republican. If you're this divisive the rest of the time, eventually you're going to turn it on yourself.
That was one of the criticisms, was Matt Gaetz was saying that House Speaker Kevin McCarthy was going and making these backdoor deals with President Biden. Whether
Excuse me, you say that like it's a bad
You say
thing.
it's a back door, but I call it a smart door.
it was with the debt ceiling or whether it was with working with Democrats to come up with a continuing resolution, or the lack of trust that has eroded over time with some of these bills not going through the regular order. Those are fair criticisms, but right now, this is a very weak position that House Republicans will be currently operating from as they attempt to elect another speaker.
Kilmany Ducart, thank you very much. Johnny on the spot today. Appreciate the updates from
Appreciate you covering for my ass while I completely blitz on anything worthwhile to say in this ridiculous circumstance.